Auckland Chamber of Commerce.
As a country, we need to be able to set some goals that everybody sees as being achievable, you know, something that we know that we can do rather than something that's sitting out there that's an impossible dream. The last government, you know, they had this wish that we would get New Zealand into the top half of OECD nations in respect of GDP per capita. That would mean we need to be, you know, around 16, 17 mark. To do that, we need to pass France, for example. If we're going to, you know, get our GDP per capita past France, it means we would need to grow at about 16%. You know, have we ever done that? No. And so, you know, this government is talking about closing the gap with Australia. You'd have to assume that we're meaning eliminate the gap with Australia in GDP per capita. And that means that what we'd have to grow is 35%. Again, when I have a look, you know, we're growing at rates around 1 and 2%, and here we are with supposed targets of 16 and 35%. You know, not realistic, not achievable. It's no wonder that the average New Zealander and businesses generally look at those sorts of targets and go, what we need to do is to look at, you know, what we do want to achieve. For example, if we want to see some better growth, how can we reward firms that are, say, turning over $1 million now and grow to 2 million? What are the things that we can do to help that happen? What's the, you know, the incentives that we could perhaps put in place in respect of training and improving productivity? What are the things we could do, for example, that when we look at exports, that we could turn around and say, you know, if you've got an export company and it's turning over 2 million, if you got to 4 million, what could the government do for you? What are the incentives? What's the help? What are the things that we're going to do? You know, these are goals that might appear to be incremental, you know, but they could be time-bound, they could be, you know, dollar value-based or something that the average business could look at and say, yeah, I could do that. I could move from a 2 million export value to a 5 million or something like that. But to be a part of, you know, growing at a rate of 35% in a competition with Australia, to me, I don't believe most, you know, I don't believe that they're really seen as being achievable. They do need to be something that firms can relate to. So, you know, we've got targets that some of our big corporates would look at and say, you know, we're going to have some big hairy goals and that's great. But those big hairy goals, if you apply them to a small medium business, they're not going to appear to be practical. We need to have some goals that the small medium business says, I can improve my productivity, I can improve my growth. There is going to be a reward for me doing that. We can improve our exports. I can improve productivity or skills within my firm. These are all things that the consequences of which are going to see New Zealand as a much stronger economy. That's what we're after.